Well, Port Vale, weird old start to the season in that they had a torrid opening day and then have really bounced back strongly. I know they were beaten in midweek, but to react from what happened to them on the opening day, really impressive.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, a really random result that you don't expect to see those scorelines on day one, but I think ever more impressive their response to that and form since. I mean, some turnaround. It was obviously a freak result on the day when you really don't want one. But I think it's a credit to Andy and his team of how they've responded to that, and not only in the game after, but the run of games since. They were beaten on Tuesday against Burton. I was at the game with Jack Cassidy, and myself and Barry went to watch them against Oxford a few weeks back. They had a good day there. So look, no question that they are a very, very good team, playing in a style that is a bit of a shift from what they have done. They've recruited a lot in the summer. Very expansive, very open team with the ball. Centre backs that really join the attack. Midfield players that can dictate play. I've been really impressed with them, and it will be actually quite similar in style to a few of the teams we've played against recently, and so we need to make sure we're at the very best of our game to make sure we are firstly competitive, secondly can get on top, and then try to control games ourselves, because the home form's good, and it's a game we certainly want to get points from, but we'll have to be really good to do it, because they're off to a really good start and confident, and no doubt will want to respond well from Tuesday.
Yeah, 3 wins from 4 at the Abbey, 3 clean sheets as well. That is the sort of form that can really underpin a season if you can maintain it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, 10 of our 13 wins came at home last season, so it's certainly a place that we want to make difficult for teams to come to. I think the atmosphere really helps us. I think we've played some really good games in the home stadium, and we want to do that again this weekend. Every game will look slightly different. There'll be elements of the game that maybe look the same, but there'll be parts of this game on Saturday where we're going to have to be very good with the ball firstly, play quickly against a high pressing team, and our defensive structure is going to need to be really good as well. So then on top of that, obviously penalty box actions, we've got to defend one really well and be clinical and composed at the other end, and we probably lacked a little bit of that in a few weeks, so that's something for us to put on top of what's been good performances, and hopefully we can continue the good form at home.
Yeah, and I guess you're not the only club that would be saying that. It's almost the hardest bit, isn't it, to have the clinical play you need at either end, particularly in the attacking box, and we're quite early in the season.
Yeah, the scoring goals is hard, isn't it? It's the toughest bit at the end, and we've created some really good moments and good situations and haven't quite finished them. Sometimes through really good defending, sometimes through the odd decision or being a little bit rushed or lacking a bit of composure in the last part. But we've got lots of good players who can score goals, no question about that. So we just need the best technical level of us in that area to finish off those moments. But we know we've got 7 or 8 attacking players that can contribute to goals, no doubt. We've got midfield players that can score. We've already seen that, and I think we can be a threat in set play situations and add to that. So I do think there's a lot of goals in this team, and I think over 46 games we hope that plays out.
You mentioned the atmosphere for the home games so far. I don't suppose anybody really knows exactly the impact that a strong home support can have, but particularly with the Reading game, there is that sense that it really seems to be building into something special at the Abbey at the moment.
I think so, and I think it's probably credit to a lot of work over a period of time to engage more people, but the way the club conducts itself, the way that we engage, the way that the community foundation is like everywhere, in a city that is growing all the time. There's potential new fans joining this city every week, and we have to hook them to our football club and make sure that when they come for the first time they want to come back, and I think that's happening. Then there's a real concerted effort in an old stadium to make it somewhere that is enjoyable to come, and the facilities are improving all the time to try and make it a better environment for people, that it's more than just the game on the pitch. And then the atmosphere in the NRE has been brilliant, and all the way around the ground, huge effort to make it look better and make it sound better, and that does really drive the players on, and we want the place to be somewhere that our players love playing, and that we know that good or bad in a game, people are for us until the end.
Let's do the team news. Is Jack Stevens potentially, has he got a chance for this weekend?
No, Jack's not back training yet. So he's out with Martin training, but he's not in the group sessions. So I think the group sessions will start for him next week. Harrison's picked up a knock in his knee in the Peterborough game, so he's unavailable. Other than that, everybody else is good and has had a full week to prepare going into the game.
Presumably, though, you're very happy with what Will's been doing since he's come back in?
Yeah, very good. I'm not surprised. We saw it last year. He's shown nice composure with the ball, which is improving in his game, which is good. And he's kept a really good goal. So yeah, really pleased with him. And as I say, unsurprised by that. We're playing Port Vale. It's easy to remember the real key save he made there last year when we played them. So yeah, looking forward to playing again. I'm sure he is this weekend, and we're really pleased with his level.
Yeah, so with Will, the shot stopping, I guess, has always been there. Is it just a case of adding those other elements, which I suppose as a backup goalkeeper, it's easier said than done when you're waiting for that game time as well?
I think it's anyone who's waiting on game time, you get such a limited time to then show how good you are. You have to make training your mission to show us what you can do and be really committed to your sessions, but also make a real impact and show the improvements that you do. But in the end, we've got a good squad, we've got good players, we've got players in every position that could argue they should be in the team, and if the changes get made this weekend, one's coming out will feel hard done by because they've played well. So that ability to be able to change, but I think that is important for us to use the squad to make sure that we have an element of surprise about us. And also in the busy periods where we are going to need everybody throughout from one game to the next, Saturday, Tuesday, in October, November, that everybody's fit and ready to go for that. But yeah, we're pleased with the progress of those lads outside the team, and all of them are just itching for game time now to show what they can do.
Presumably ahead of what is going to be a busy October, your injury situation, you'd love to have everybody fit, but you feel you're in a pretty good place heading into that busy run of games?
Yeah, we're hopeful that Brandon, Jordan and Sekou will all be back as we get into that period, so that's excellent news for us. We expect Jack to be back in that period. Harrison we need to see. Everybody else at the moment is good, so touch wood they stay fit, and the more we've got to pick from in that period, that will be really helpful for us.
Brilliant, that's great for me.
Hi Mark, just on we're talking about the attendances and how good the crowd's been this season. In terms of just the rise of it over recent season, how pleasing has that been to see from your point of view?
Yeah, I think it's good. I think it just shows the progress that we've made from the last few seasons. I think part of it is people engaged with us in the pandemic, but also realised that actually being around people and being in live sport is something that was really missed. So that's been a good level. We're engaged with a lot of support, young supporters. You see so many kids at games with shirts on. Junior U's takeover day this weekend. You'll see kids everywhere. Kids managing the team for me and doing all sorts of jobs for the day, which is great. As a fellow Junior U back in the day, I know how exciting that can be. So yeah, it's great to see, and hopefully we can continue our progress on the pitch, which is probably the biggest thing that keeps people engaged off of it. But that they can see a club that's not finished yet and has got good ambition to keep getting better. So hopefully that continues to make that progress.
Just one point on the injury news as well. You mentioned about Harrison having a knee injury. Have you got any indication as to how long that might be at this stage?
No, not yet. We're waiting for some answers in the next couple of days, so we should know next week.
Yeah, and just on that battle, so to speak, at left back between Harrison and Danny Andrew, I just wondered what your thinking was as to why you went with Danny at the start of the season.
Well, I think Danny's a really good player, firstly. Really good experience at this level. Got a wand of a left foot. His defensive game's been better and better in recent weeks as his understanding to get used to our team has improved. But I think he's a really good player, and I think that's fundamentally pushed by Dunks all the way, which is great. And Dunks finished last season really well, but we think that Danny can give us some real quality moments in the attacking half. I think the best is yet to come from him for sure, but I think in recent weeks his improvements and his game's been very good. He'd have had one game that he was disappointed with, but on a day where everybody was disappointed at Orient. Other than that, I think we've got a really good character leader player added to the team, and it's a great competition to have when you've got two older senior players fighting and pushing each other for their position in the team. It's great. And Dunks, whether he's playing, you know exactly what you get from him. Really importantly, you know what you get from him when he's not playing. Flat out trainer, push the other lads, support the team all the way, and be ready for when his moment comes. So it's a great competition to have.
Could I just ask you to elaborate a bit more as well about a question I asked last week about Lewis Simper? Is a loan move not something that you would consider for him this season based on what you said last week?
Not right now, mate. No, we've got 3 central midfielders who are fit, so it's certainly not something we're looking at.